Chapter 27. How are you doing, Stella? Hunter asked as he carried the dragoness in his arms. The chief warrior on lightning dragons had been trudging on through the night at what felt like a snail's pace. They had woken up far away in Avalar, miles away from the dragon city. Hunter had gone away with a few cuts and bruises, and some bruised ribs being the worst of his injuries. Stella, by comparison, had been so fortunate. Like Candace, one of her forelegs was broken in 3 places. Her left wing had been smashed against a tree and now hung limp at her side. She had broken a couple ribs and her bruising was showing against her golden yellow scales. "I'm surviving," the blind dragoness wheezed. Hunter nodded sadly, knowing that she wasn't one to ask for help unless it was absolutely necessary. They had been walking for hours without any sign of civilization for several hours. The night had been quiet except for the nighttime creatures going about their business. As they moved along, Stella found herself drifting off to a light slumber. Her mind began to think back to the secluded Dragon City of Satrona. She wondered how Infernus was doing and how well his recovery was coming along. Her thoughts drifted to dragons that had come with him: Max, Plax, and Zephyr. Stella didn't know Max as well as Sin or Tremor, but she could tell from their behavior with one another that he was a good friend. She began to think about what may have become the Trio of Dragons. She couldn't be sure about Max's survival, but maybe Plax and Zephyr had made out okay before Dark Master's rebirth. But then again, it was still a very far flight back to Satrona, and Stella wasn't sure how long that would take when having a frozen body the entire way. The time trick brought the dragons back to consciousness. Hunter froze and raised his nose to the air. He could smell smoke and his ears twitched slightly. The crackle of torches were drawing closer to them. "What is it?" Stella was glancing around nervously in all directions. A smile spread across Hunter's face. "Friends," he replied. He remained where he was, and slowly they began to hear footsteps drawing closer to them. The torch became visible through the trees, and familiar shadows began to emerge from the darkness. The red cheer sat with red eyes in surprise. "Hunter, G. Prowlis," Hunter nodded with a smile. "It's good to see that you are well." "Indeed, as I should say to you as well." The chieftain bobbed his head as more of the chief warriors gathered on the scene. Prowlis glanced at Stella and Hunter's arms about slightly. "Lady Stella, it is good to see you alive and well. The others have been worried about you." "Thank you." Stella tried to smile, but was very successful. But her gaze lowered to the forest line, her voice short off. "The hunters have been taken by Lena Malifaux," Hunter finished. "What?" Prowlis gasped, and a terrifying murmur moved amongst the other felines. "How is that possible?" "We aren't sure." Hunter shook his head. "But we believe that he attacked the Dragon City just shortly after we had left." "Curse that cursed Dragon Malifaux!" Prowlis snapped, a furrow growl rumbling in his throat. "What will it take to finally be rid of him?" The other warriors hung their heads in dismay. Stella looked around the faces and could feel their hearts jumping one by one. She squirmed free of Hunter's grip and fell clumsily to the ground. The tears left their eyes when she cried out, and another wave of pain swept over her. Hunter went to help her, but Stella waved him on with her good wing. "Tree Prowlis, you don't mean to tell me that you're going to let Malifaux try and destroy the world again, are you?" She looked the red chieftain's in the eyes. "Lady Stella, I don't like the situation any more than you do. But I, for one, don't want to spend the rest of my days hiding in fear or fighting endlessly. I have friends who I care about and love, and I'm willing to fight for their safety." "Yes, but what?" Stella raised a brow. "It's hopeless?" "I don't think so." "Will it be tough?" "Most likely. But we can't get what we want the most unless we work hard for it." She looked around the cluster of cat eyes staring down at her. She was beginning to get to them. "And we can reach those goals even faster when we work together." Stella looked back at the chieftain. "Will you help us?" Again? Prowlis smiled and gave a slight chuckle. "If you had asked me 3 years ago when the Dark Armies were taking over our lands, I would have said no. But I see that the Pro Dragon's power had made quite an impression on you." Prowlis knelt down and placed a paw on Stella's head. "You have my full support," he turned to our warriors. "Am I right?" "Avalar!" the chiefs hollered in unison. Stella smiled and glanced back at Hunter, who nodded approvingly. "Shall we be going then?" Stella asked sweetly. "Not just yet, Lady Stella," Prowlis hollered her. "You're not going anywhere in your condition." He glanced over his shoulder. "Meadow, are you still with us?" Another red cheetah made his way through the crowd of warriors and knelt down beside Stella. "What can I do?" he asked gently. "Our Guardian of Lightning is in need of medical treatment," Hunter replied. If you are able to help her move on her own, then soon we may go rendezvous with Spyro and the others. I will see what can be done. Meadow replied calmly, laying his hands on Stella. The dragon sighed deeply and lay against the tree for support. Meadow's violet eyes closed as he concentrated on his task. Stella felt the warmth of his healing energy spread throughout her body. It was very familiar, almost like embers, but with its own sense of uniqueness. It felt like a warm cloth was being draped over around her, keeping the cold at bay. This may take a little while, Meadow said, cracking an eyelid, but you'll be just fine. Cinder's head spun in circles. She was beginning to wake up, but her mind was severely disoriented. The dragon's groaned trying to open her eyes, but her vision was blurred. Easy there, Cinder. Sparks laid a tiny hand on her cheek. You took a nasty hit when we landed. Cinder moaned again and clutched her head. Sparks continued to stroke her cheek until he heard footsteps coming closer. The dragonfly turned to see his brother emerge from the underbrush, carrying a bundle of branches under his wings. She seems to be coming around, Sparks reported. That's good. Sparrow nodded sadly. He set the bundles down and came to sit beside his dragoness. Cinder, he whispered, leaning down towards her. His gentle voice seemed to calm her senses down, and her breathing returned normal. It's me, Spyro. Can you hear me? Spyro. Cinder whimpered and opened her eyes. Her vision was still blurred, but she could see his flat figure before her. The purple dragon reached a paw and rested on Cinder's head. The dragon's felt a silent shift then heat spread across her body. Her eyes snapped open, her senses cleared up, and a sudden rush of energy surged inside her heart. Spyro withdrew his paw and smiled at her. Feeling better? Yeah, Cinder gasped in astonishment as she flexed her talons before rolling to her feet. Still got the magic toe with the ladies, I see. Heart shook and both dragons blushed. Where are we? Cinder asked after a long silence between them. We're in the mountains beyond Warfang, Spyro replied darkly. Seems like everyone's scared about. I've been trying to reach you out for the past several hours. Leaving me to babysit you, Spyro pointed out to Cinder. Cinder ignored him for the time being. Any luck? Spyro sighed. Very little. He turned towards the eastern side. I managed to locate the surviving moles and Menris moles, but they've been moving quickly away from something. Something dark. I couldn't quite detect what it was exactly. Do you think it's metaphor? You think it's metaphor? Of course! Spark muttered. Who else could possibly be interfering? I was able to locate Tremor cannons, but they were attacked by one of the wolves from the city. Candace has gone missing, and Tremor's been out cold for the past several hours. I haven't since Flame or Ember at all, so my guess is they... Don't say it. Cinder started with a raised paw. I don't want to even think about such a thing. What about Stella? She's alive along with Hunter. I sent a telepathic master to tree prowlers to head out and search for them. Cinder stared at the purple dragon in amazement. Wow, she whispered. What? Sparrow to his head slightly in confusion. Cinder's eyes seemed to gleam in the late afternoon sky. Even though it was overcast, her eyes still sparkled like polished gems. You've really changed, Spyro. For the better. Spyro blushed and turned away. Well, now that you're up, we can go about formulating a plan to take back our home. Sounds good to me. Spyro crossed his arms and nodded. What do you suggest we do? I say that we gather everyone that we can, Cinder recommended. We're gonna need all the help we can get. As little as I want to involve any more innocent lives with this, Spyro muttered. You're right. If we're going to take back our home, we're going to need the help of whatever force we can gather. Well, buddy, go ahead and do your thing. Sparks gave his brother a punch on the shoulder. You're the one that can communicate across the Great Lands just by singing your big purple bell for an hour. Sparks! Cinder scored and the dragonfly shrank back in surprise. Cinder turned and smiled out her consent. The purple dragon sat upright and closed his eyes before taking a long, deep breath. Spark quickly entered his meditative state and expanded his essence across the land. He remembered the last location he had seen Stella and Hunter and zeroed in on them. Sure enough, they had been found by Chief Prowlers and the other warriors of the Cheetah tribe. Hunter! Spark caught in his mind. Also, with the Cheetah's scout's ears perked up and he turned his head to the sky. What is it, Hunter? Flazak seeing the warrior's sudden reaction. I'm not certain, Hunter replied, but I thought I heard Spar's voice just now. It is I, Spyro spoke again, this time it has the other words as well. Listen, Hunter, we need to meet back up at the Dragon City. I understand, Hunter nodded, staring ahead as if looking at the distance. But we have a bit of a situation right now. Stella's receiving medical treatment for her injuries, and we can't move her until Meadow is done. I understand, Spyro nodded in his mind. Things aren't looking very good right now. We've lost Flame and Amber, and Candace has been taken prisoners by the wolves. I have, however, managed to locate the most Manwars moles. They're in trouble due to an unknown force of Malifaux. I can't sense exactly what, but they've been causing the move all night. Is Tremor close enough to help them? Tremor instead raised her head. I'm going to try and reach him, but he's been unconscious for some time now. When you can, meet up with him. Spyro concentrated hard as he sent a middle map where they should go. How did they not join in unison when they received the image in their heads? I'll try Tremor and the others right there as well. Cinder, Sparks, and I will meet up with you there. We understand, Hunter nodded. Be careful, and may the ancestors watch over you. Spyro wanted to reply but found nothing to say. The situation was dire and few words could be said to make it better. However, he did feel a slight sense of relief. Now to try and reach Tremor. He burned himself as he began to search out there with the Guardian. Let's hope he's able to make it in time.